Welcome to the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box. Welcome to the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast, brought to you by the Hot Take Hot Box. My name is Matt McSweeney. I am joined by Ty Capone. Ty, we are here to talk about UFC 297. Strickland is no longer the middleweight champion of the world. Dricus du Plessis takes the crown, and Raquel Pennington, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, Raquel Pennington is a UFC champion.
She is. So is Dricus du Plessis. Two new champions. I guess that's cool. The card itself was C+, C-, C,
Yeah.
somewhere in the C range.
Barely passed.
About what I did in school. Yeah, pretty much what I did in school. So, yeah, not the worst, but definitely not good. So, I think it's funny because it started out with, 4 finishes, and then it went
prelims
split.
are better than the main, or some of the big fights.
Yeah, split, unanimous, split, late finish, unanimous split. So, bunch of splits. There was a lot of just the card, like everything about this card from start to finish just didn't seem great. Didn't seem like, Dom Cruz, every time there was blood, anytime anybody bled, he said something. He made a remark. Pretty much, I guess he was, I don't want to speak entirely for him, but I guess what he was saying was, what he was insinuating is if you cut somebody up in the first round, that there's a gradual effect, a lingering effect that in rounds 2 and 3, judges are going to score it in favor of you because you cut somebody and they're bleeding. It just made no fucking sense. Like, no sense at all. And then eventually John Anik said something because you could tell. Nobody said shit anytime he's mentioned, there's the cut, so he's probably going to win this round. And you're like, bro, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
so he struggled. The referees, I thought, and judges, they were their usual inconsistent self. I saw a lot of people hating on Mark Goddard for those knees in the Evloev-Allen fight. I thought they were all legal, though. No?
I thought they were, too.
DC kept saying all of them were illegal, but it looks like anytime he's like, of course the knee's going to land because you're pulling him, so of course his hands aren't going to be on the mat. And I'm like, well, that means it's legal. If his hands aren't on the mat,
I thought we went over this before. I mean, it was close each time, but I also, the rules are different everywhere, so it's kind of...
Yeah, it has the jersey. Canada has the jersey rules from, 07 or some shit. So basically, I think the palm and hand has to be fully on the ground. Like, if your fingertips are on it or, grazing, I don't think that counts as your hands being
weight
down.
Bearing or whatever
right?
they call
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So I know this. I saw Mark Goddard have to explain himself on Twitter, which I'm glad he did. I mean, I think he's the best all around. He handled it right. He didn't take a point.
He's taken over Jason Herzog?
They're both. I feel like we don't see enough of Herzog. Is that weird? I feel like we don't. I don't know what.
Herzog
maybe
probably has
other
multiple families that he has to go take care of while these fights are happening.
Yeah, that's fair. But either way, I just all in all, it was not a great night. After the card, Dana White said the Evloev-Allen fight was one of the worst ever. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? It was not even that bad. I don't know if you
I didn't feel
saw
that.
that.
Yeah, I honestly did not watch any of the post press conference stuff because I've gotten to a point of just I'm sick of listening to him talk. I used to actually look forward to it, but it's it is such nonsense every time. The people who go to the press conferences don't really ask any questions that I care about. It's this is what he wanted though. He kind of weeded out all of the actual question asking journalists, and it's just kind of the schmo and that Nina woman, and there's all sorts of just this
all
random
a bunch of jokers.
Yeah, it's a bunch of influencer people who
the Barstool people.
Yep. I don't want to hate on these
and
people because I would do if I was them, I'd be happy with where I'm at.
Absolutely.
And, I would do the same thing. But I'm just saying from you watch these other sports and you see the people that are in there asking questions, and then you watch the UFC, and I mean there are still some people in there I mean John Morgan's kind of fallen by the wayside. He don't get the first question in the press conferences anymore the big time press conferences. But
I feel we never see or hear from Okamoto. I know he has a different kind of role now.
Yeah,
but I don't see him anywhere.
About him. I think
he's a handsome fella.
Yeah, he's very good looking, but he's a clown. He's an absolute just shill.
I wonder if him and Joanna ever did the thing.
Well, I think just Dana goes he finds reporters and stuff that he likes, and he feeds them different information and stuff like that. It's It's very communist sort of stuff going on there, and
sounds about
for
right
the UFC,
for what they have going on.
Yeah.
Also, how about Dana White losing his fucking hearing every time somebody asks a question? Huh?
Well,
what was that? What'd you say?
Every time.
Sounds like my dad. I'm like, Dad, why don't you have hearing aids? Why don't you use them?
He should get some hearing aids. I mean, well, all them. He's naturally gotten that big and jacked, so it's so he probably could just naturally
Nothing
get his hearing
artificial.
better if that's the case. But Ty, enough hating on Dana White. Let's get right into the main event of the evening. Sean Strickland, Dricus du Plessis. It was, listen, I would say overall, I'm not going to go round by round and whatnot. I thought for sure that Strickland won 1 and 5. I think those were probably his rounds. I know Dricus stole a take. I think he stole a takedown at the end of the first. I don't think any of Dricus's takedowns are really worth anything because he wasn't able to really do anything with them. But that's not how judging really works. They give you. I mean, that's an offensive maneuver. It's kind of like landing a punch or whatever. You got him down. He gets back up, but I was explaining to a couple guys who are like boxing guys. They reward defense in boxing. Is that right? I think they reward you for making people miss. I don't think in the UFC they really do that, or MMA in general. They don't really reward you for defense or making someone miss or stopping a takedown, even though they probably should when guys are spamming. When you fight Davishvili and he spams 28 takedowns in a 3-round fight, and you get taken down 5 of those 28 times. I feel like you should get rewarded a little bit, but that's just not how this sport plays out. At the end of the day, I think this was a very entertaining fight. It was back and forth. I think these two should fight again, maybe not right away, but I think at some point, Strickland has shown that he is of this caliber and at this level. I think the good thing for him, or what I got from this, was that night against Adesanya was not necessarily a fluke. He is worthy and capable of fighting at this level. I just think this fight could have gone either way on the cards. I don't think it was a robbery. I don't think it was, would have been a robbery on the other side. I really think this could have gone either way. And I think those 2, 3, 4 rounds were kind of, some of them were up for grabs. And I think Strickland really kind of lost himself this fight by his, I would say, inactivity in the middle rounds of this fight. But I guess I would ask you what you thought on the night's affairs.
Man, these rounds were so close. So if you go Verdict MMA, they have that thing where they score each round however they do it, and pretty much 2, 3, and 4, or 2 and 3 were like pretty much dead even. Mm-hmm. They had the fight for Strickland, but very close. I just thought Dricus 1, 2, 3, and 4. I thought he landed the better shots, and I mean the striking in those rounds were pretty close. I mean, I say pretty close. They were damn near identical. Round 1, Strickland outlanded him 34-18. Round 5, he outlanded him 53-35. Awesome volume in round 5, also. But then after round 1, he slowed down. Sean did, and also he was only head hunting. 90% landed to the head, 59% from Dricus. He went to the body, went to the legs, outkicked him 24-6. He was getting his legs, his kicks checked, but he was still doing a lot. He started to mix it up. Obviously, he had the 6 takedowns, only for 2 minutes of control time. So, like you said, didn't really do much with it. But when the striking is even or perceived as even, they look at grappling next, and I think that's what did it. I think that's kind of fair. I could see somebody giving, I guess, the 4th. I want to say to Strickland, he outlanded him 33-29 in the 4th, and the 3rd it was 31-29. In the 2nd, it was 26-22 in favor of Dricus.
Look
so
how close that is.
So close. And then if you look at MMA decisions, I believe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 13 had it for du Plessis, 48-47. 9 had it for Strickland, 49-47. One person from Combat Press, I follow them. I usually like what they do. They had it 49-46 Strickland. Not sure what we were watching there, but I will admit it was close. I don't want to say robbery, but you know how it goes. Everybody says robbery no matter what because it's the main event. Everybody has a ticket on somebody. I get it. It's so hard to judge live like we do, especially when we're a little toasted. You got the proper 12 in you. I have the Appleton Estate rum in me. So,
fucking hit him! Hit him! Is what I'm yelling at
Leg kicks, Dricus!
At my house with my shillelagh sitting on the table, just getting ready to go.
But yeah, I just thought Dricus landed the powerful shots, after the first round. Then he got the takedown in the second. He got 3 in the fourth. I thought that stole the fourth round for him. Honestly, I thought the fourth round was so close, and I didn't know which way to go. That really, I thought even in the fifth round live, I was like, honestly, I could give this a Dricus, and then I kind of reconsidered that after I noticed most people had the fifth for Sean. So I definitely had to go back and rewatch the whole fight just to get a better idea. But I still, maybe I'll change my mind. I'll do that probably after this pod or maybe later this week. Because I believe we have a week off, right?
Yeah, no UFC this weekend.
Good shit, because the next 2 cards are absolute dog water. So that's going to suck. 298 should be fun. I know we're excited to crown a new champion. That's pretty much, it's already done and dealed. Pretty much done. Signed, sealed, delivered. New champion at featherweight coming.
No.
So, but yeah, I don't know. This was a good fight. I do feel bad because one of them had to lose, and they both balls to the wall. They both put on a fucking absolute great performance. Dricus is just tough, man. He's just so tough with that awkward style. Everything he does is, seemingly hard and impactful. So I think that's kind of the problem. Sean Strickland, a lot of parrying, a lot of just head, really good movement. It makes it really difficult for you to find a rhythm, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I think, like you said, he's going to be back. He's only 32. I think he turns 33 in February. So, I mean, he still has a couple of years left. I don't see who else in this division is really going to, make him work for it like Izzy and Dricus. So this definitely sets Izzy and Dricus up. People are saying UFC 300. That's too close. Dricus' face
did you see his
battered.
Face? Yeah.
Yeah. I think he needs more than a couple months. So, they don't need to rush that. I know they're, trying to desperately piece together 300. So, that's pretty much all I have for that fight. Again, I will have to go back and rewatch it, but I feel pretty confident. 2, 3, and 4 for Dricus. Maybe 3 or 4 you give to Sean. But either way, I mean, it could have gone either way.
Yeah, like I feel very strongly in my belief that it could have gone either way. Like that's where, like, when there's sometimes when the card's read, like, we'll talk about a few where I was like, wow, that guy actually, like, like, that's a robbery. That's like, this wasn't like, no matter what they read, I was like, wow, I just don't know where this is going to go. And I can't call one judge or that judge, you're a moron. I will do that from time to time. You guys all know, we listen to this podcast. We will come in here and call a judge a moron if we think he was totally off, or, when a guy went to split decision and two of the judges have 29-28 and the other guy has 30-27, it's like, what the fuck were these guys watching? Like, what I don't think that was the case here. I think if they're going to do, like, Israel, I'm so sick of him. So I guess they're going to have to do this fight. Like, he's out there, like, dancing on Strickland's, like, grave, basically, like, joking around and stuff like that. Like, like, nice rain or something like that. Like, yeah, buddy, that guy beat the fucking dog shit out of you and basically sent you into a semi-retirement. So, I mean, if Dricus and Israel Adesanya are going to do it, it'll probably be sometime in the summer, I would imagine. It would be right probably after the Conor card, if that's what they're going to do. If it's not, International Fight Week, then maybe a late July, early August sort of situation for Strickland. I mean, honestly, if they're gonna wait all that time, and maybe if Izzy's not ready to go or doesn't want to fight, then I wouldn't mind them running this back, and doing maybe this be a co-main on another, like on a big fight card where maybe Poatan and Jamal Hill were the main event or something like that. Like I could see them doing something like that. But if they're not gonna do that, then I would maybe push Strickland in the direction of a, maybe run back the Cannonier fight. Or maybe a Robert Whitaker or something like that, but or maybe even a Chimaev if that's, like, because Chimaev's going to have to fight somebody soon if he really wants to make a push for this title. He's gonna need a name somewhere in that top 5-ish area. Then why wouldn't, because I think Cannonier and Vettori, they fought in the summer, right? And Cannonier won. Is that? Yeah. That's correct, right? So, I mean, because Cannonier would probably be right there. He's if not next, he's, because Whitaker is going to need another fight. Is Whitaker scheduled to fight?
He's got Costa.
He's got Costa, right? When is that? In February?
That's 298.
Right, yeah. So, then maybe Whitaker wins that, then maybe it's him, Maybe he would be next.
This division in general,
It's bad. But it's a lot of the same. The good thing is that the champion is a new face in a sense.
Every time, yeah.
So it's like Driscus hasn't really fought Israel. He hasn't fought, Cannonier. But again, a lot of these guys at the top, they've been there. So it's all just the same names fighting each other over and over again. I mean, Whitaker and Adesanya fought a million times. It's like we got sick of it, So I don't know. It's that's the tough part about being at middleweight and trying to match make at middleweight. But I guess we're gonna have some time to figure that out because these guys did go to war. They took a little bit of a beating. I guess we'll see what's next. So we'll just keep it moving. Raquel Pennington, she gets a unanimous decision victory over Mayra Bueno Silva. Ty texted me in the middle of the 5th round and said this is one of the best women's fights he's ever seen in his life. No, I'm just kidding. In all seriousness, no. I mean, this played out exactly how we thought it would if Raquel Pennington... the people at my house were all worried. I'm like, listen, dude, if this fight goes literally past the 2nd round, you can cash out your Raquel Pennington points ticket because we gave that out on here. It was basically inside the distance, or if you like Raquel Pennington, bet the points. And it played out exactly how I thought. I knew right away, honestly, in the 1st round when Mayra was trying to clinch with her. I was like, under no circumstance should she be clinching with her. She almost subbed her a few times, but it really was never all that close. I mean, she almost got it underneath the chin. I think she snuck around to the back at one point, had it on her face. I was like, you could just kind of tell by some people's jiu-jitsu and their submission game that it's just not on the level to be finishing out these. I mean, to be finishing title fights with submissions, you have to be elite. And I just don't think Mayra Bueno Silva's elite. She kind of luck boxed her way into this. And now, Ty, the sick thing that's going to keep people up at night is that we're going to have to watch Raquel Pennington and Juliana Pena fight on a co-main event.
Yeah, that's going to be terrible. Hopefully we can bet the over 4.5 on that. I think that one's going the distance. Mm-hmm. Mayra Bueno Silva won the 1st round. After that, nothing. Didn't even really compete. Some guy I've never heard of, Salim Hanif, gave Raquel Pennington a 10-8 for round 5. I thought she might have honestly been closer to a 10-8 in round 4, but I digress from that. I mean, what else is there really to say? I mean,
we're not going to waste too much time on this.
I'll say it was a cool moment seeing Tisha Torres and her kid, also right next to Amanda Nunes. That was kind of cool, and their whole celebration. So that was awesome to see, even though Raquel and Tisha Torres seemingly break up every other month. But
they had the baby with the earmuffs there. That seems like the move.
Always put the earmuffs on. Oh, I mean, nothing better than bringing your newborn baby to a UFC event. I feel like that's really where you get to experience your first happenings of the real world. But either way.
Well, because that child is going to remember being brought into the cage during that moment.
Yeah, thank God it didn't end the way when Blueface brought his child into the ring. That was almost a brawl. So somebody tried stealing his fucking kid from him. It's crazy, but that was wild. I mean, not much really to say about this. I will say I thought Pennington was kind of going to be a pushover, especially at 35. But I believe she is the 2nd woman to ever win a belt at 35 or win a title fight at 35 or older. Do you know who the other one is?
Probably Holly Holm.
No, sir. Amanda Nunes, when she fought Irene Aldana, they were both 35. So, and appears, I don't have any, I thought I saw the tweet, but I don't know what happened. Maybe it's not even real, but I saw somebody pretty much hint that 34 is the age where people really actually start to decline.
Up the demarcation line.
We're moving the demarcation line to 34, which kind of makes sense. But going forward, I think that's something we should just consider, just think about, and then we'll see. I think 34, 35, it makes sense. I saw Luke Thomas also reference that. I thought there was a tweet with exact numbers and percentages and data, but I don't have it handy, so maybe I'm making it up. It's been a long weekend. Either way, something to look forward going forward. Considering that.
No, I mean,
but Raquel Pennington undefeated, Mother Time undefeated.
Yeah, Raquel Pennington. This fight just played out exactly how she wanted it to. I mean, good on her to make that happen. I mean, she's on a 6-fight win streak. She's beat some. Ketlin Vieira. Aspen Ladd not with the company anymore. Macy Chiasson, who's a big woman. Even though that's maybe not the best fighter, but she's large for 35, so that was a good win for her. But listen, 35 is not exactly a murderer's row of people there for the women. So I could see her, doing well against a lot of these girls. I mean, Juliana Pena is the only one that's going to, I guess, really stake her claim to try to, I guess dethrone her or really make some sort of try to make
that division
a fight.
is so sad.
It's so bad. If you go through,
let's look at it.
Pena, Pennington, Buena Silva, Ketlin Vieira, Aldana, Holly Holm, Penny Kianzad, Yana Santos, Carol Hosa, Macy Chason, Misha Tate. That's the top 10, 11, basically. So
Misha Tate just hanging on for dear life. I don't know what she's doing.
Chelsea Chandler's ranked. So Norma Dumont ranked.
Hey, I respect Norma and her lower body, but dude, what a Chelsea Chandler. I feel like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I guess if you want to look down the list of fighters who might have a future, might have a ranking next to their name, I don't really see many. I see Tanara Lisboa, like her. That's it. Dude, I'm looking at this entire division. Alexieva, your girl, the Russian Ronda? I don't even know if that is the Russian Ronda, is it?
It's hard to keep track.
Eileen Perez, maybe her and her cheeks can get a ranking. I mean, dude, if our girl Minnie Nunes, what's her? She's 3-0 in the UFC. Until she loses, we're not backing off of that hype train. I think she doesn't have a fight scheduled, so that sucks.
Man, Minnie Nunes is a scary individual. She's 5'2", and she just drops bombs, man. So, yeah, I don't think there is a fight scheduled for her, as far as I know.
Give her a title shot.
The last thing was
Give her Holly Holm.
In 2023. She fought Zara Firen, and she went to a decision with her. That was at featherweight. Yeah. So I mean, what the fuck are we doing here? So yeah, why are we even talking still about this? Let's keep it moving. I mean, good for Raquel Pennington, but listen, that this stuff should be on fight nights. This should be the main event of a fight night. These title fights, they're not even worthy, to be honest, of being on a main card, on a pay-per-view card. It's I'm looking like at 25 now and trying to figure out, could somebody come up here and save this division? Maybe if Shevchenko, it doesn't go well in the next Grasso fight, she could go up, win that belt, and call it a career, because I think she'd beat the fuck out of all these girls.
But, you said who?
Huh?
Who'd you say again?
Shevchenko.
Oh, I think Erin Blanchfield should try to be a two-time two-weight champion.
I hope that Shevchenko gets out of there before that happens, because I don't know, though. I mean, that Blanchfield-Theroux fight is going to be a big-time decider of what's not. Who would you have in that real quick? I'm taking Blanchfield, but
I'm going to go Blanchfield.
But it's going to be close. She might get caught on the way in, but I mean, that should have happened against who'd she fight? Talia?
Santos, yeah.
Yeah, that was the one. That was a dangerous fight, man. Why is Talia Santos not ranked here? Did she retire or something? What? All right, we're wasting too much time. Let's keep it moving. We'll figure that out later. Somebody get back to me on that.
Somebody, yeah.
How about? Well, yeah, Mike Malott is next. My computer's completely frozen. There you go. Mike Malott takes a big fat L to Neil Magny in the final 15 seconds of the fight. Mike Malott dominated this fight, sir, for probably around 9 to 10 minutes. Would you say, Ty? I mean, this was really one-sided. I think Mike Malott wins if it goes to the cards, but the man gassed out hard, real hard, and he just could not finish Neil Magny for whatever he was trying to do. He could not finish this man with submissions. He was taking him down. He was having his way with him, but the tide just turned, and he got taught that vet lesson that we were talking about. We didn't think it was going to be this time, but it wound up being this time.
Yeah, he was doing well the whole fight. I mean, Magny was just trying to go to the head. He got taken down, I think 4 times, controlled for about 6 minutes. I finally got done. I went to the local sports bar, and I ran into this kid that I know. I'm like, yo, watch this. He's trying to do this to set up the arm triangle. He's trying to do this. He's trying to do that. Put his leg on the hip, move the arm, put the elbow behind the head. I think I know what I'm talking about. I'm like, Mike Malott, he's going to sub him right here. And he never did. And this kid's looking at me like, bro, what are you even talking about? Do you watch this sport? So that was kind of embarrassing. But how about Mike? Yeah, proper Mike Malott, I think, takes one of the biggest L's on the card. He was he Canada's last hope on this card, right? I mean, they struggled.
Yeah. Of course.
They struggled. But of course, we fade them. They go 6-0. We tail them, and they go 2-7. So and the men went 0-7, right? So or 0-5. So 0-7, 0-5. I don't know. But either way, Mike Malott absolutely chokes in a fight that he had wrapped up. I don't know. That's a huge, huge step back. On one hand, you're like, yeah, he did well. That's good. But also, it's not like he's 26, 27, 28, I really don't think he's taken that many steps forward. And you will see that in a prospect, quote unquote, who's in his 30s. Garrett Armfield's taking steps forward. His cardio looked a lot better. We'll get to that fight. And he's 26, 27, right? I think so. Yeah, I think Mike Malott is just another guy at 170. I think he's long. He has some things that he can work with. But Neil Magny, this is a very – I don't want to discredit Neil Magny completely. The reason he won this fight is because he has that dog in it, because he has that veteran experience and has been in there with so many killers that he was able to, find that little opening and just close it out before the fight ended. So good on him, honestly. But that's a very different version of Neil Magny from even previous years ago, even from last year. Like, that's not the same. I mean, he wasn't even going to the body. He wasn't doing anything really different. He was just in there, and he was losing a decision, and then he had a great comeback. But Mike Malott, again, not sure we're ever going to see a ranking next to his name or anything crazy like that. I mean, look at his wins, right? Look how bad his wins are. Our boy from the Contender Series, I'm probably going to fuck it up again. Smatrosky. Oh, you're better at me than that one. Usually I'm the one giving you lessons. So Mickey Gall, Johan Lanesh, your boy, Adam Fugit. So, yeah, I mean, awful wins. I think he got exposed.
Got exposed, and you look at last 4 wins for Neil Magny: Mike Malott, Phil Rowe, Daniel Rodriguez, Max Griffin. So that's the list that Mike Malott's in, and the difference is that Mike Malott got finished. As did Daniel Rodriguez. It's not, Phil Rowe was a split decision. Max Griffin was a split decision. He just gassed out. I don't know, really, that's what. It's not like it would be. I'd feel different if Mike Malott was 26. Or, like you said, 27, he has some – he's still young. He's got some things to learn, and he could still come back from this. Just because he's 32 doesn't mean he's cooked, but it's not a good sign. He should have gotten him out of there. He really should have. And I don't know where you go. I mean, they're obviously going to match him up again, but we were already talking about, even with his game, how he was going to get fraud checked at some point. We were just one off. The next one, I was for sure going to be probably fading Mike Malott. It's
man, we almost got it too. We almost, because we would have, if he would have escaped that round, even got 10-8'd and had a draw or even won, we'd have been like, yo, next fight, it's over.
Next fight, he's getting cooked because he gassed out hard and he couldn't get that submission. When he had that head and arm choke, that arm triangle sort of thing, he had that locked in, and I was like,
I thought
he did too, and we were at the crib like, yo, he's about to finish this, and then you could see Neil Magny slipping off of it, and I'm like, well, I was like, where's Mike Malott? I don't know. It just seemed like you could tell the difference. I'm no jiu-jitsu expert, but you can tell the difference in technique from some of these guys who are, just kind of good, and the guys who are absolute stone cold finishers, like a Dubronx or somebody like that. It's just there's levels to it. Mike Malott's not on that level, so good win for Neil Magny. How about Chris Curtis, man? This is another one. Kind of I don't like saying this in split decisions, and it was mainly like a stand-up battle, but this was a snooze fest for me. I was watching it, but I wasn't really paying attention. It was kind of back and forth. I thought Chris Curtis, I thought he won. I thought it was a unanimous decision. I thought he won 2 of the rounds easily, but
I thought he could have even won all 3.
Yeah,
honestly.
I kind of didn't think it was a split decision, so that's why I think this is misleading. But
yeah, I think it was Chris Lee, of course,
who had it
not in Derek favor Clearly? Of. No, it was Derek Cleary. Derek Cleary had a 29-28. Marc-Andre Barrio, the other 2. Declan Woods.
Wait, was it Cleary or Clearly?
Cleary.
Because Bruce was in the building, and I thought it was Derek Clearly.
It was Derek Cleary tonight. Usually when Derek Cleary shows up, he does a better job when Joe Martinez is in the building. So, yeah, I mean, it just depends which evil twin.
It pisses him off when he hears his name. He's like, oh, okay. Yeah. You're going to hear some shit here, Bruce.
Yeah, here's a fucked up decision that I'm just going to throw in your hands, fucking idiot. Fans were booing most of this fight. It wasn't great. I think it was not that bad, though. There was much worse fights tonight. I mean,
100%.
The co-main event could have got boos. I mean, if you look at the volume.
If you think about it, though, look at the couple fights before this. I think they were just sick of all of these decisions. They were just by this point, they're like, dude, come the fuck on. I mean, what was it? 8 of the last 9 fights were decisions or something like that. It's just insane.
Yeah. But it was kind of like a sparring match, right? They were just going back and forth. One guy threw this, and the other guy kind of mirrored him with that, which is fine. You know, I'm not necessarily mad at that. That's why I didn't think it should have been booed. I mean, the first round wasn't that great. The second, third round, they started to both pick it up. Marc-Andre Barrios wasn't able to really go forward in the first round, and that's kind of what his coaches were yelling. You know, they wanted him to go forward, and he finally started to do it. And then he got marked up to start the second round. He got cut. Yeah, I think it was just a stand-up battle. Chris Curtis just has the much better boxing. That was pretty much it. That was pretty much it. I mean, it was, again, a pretty good sparring match, back and forth. I mean, tough. Dude, the last 20, 30 seconds of the third round, they were just in a phone booth fucking swinging, elbows, knees, hooks, uppercuts, and they were both bloody. You know, that's just a Chris Curtis fight, man. He is the action man.
He is.
The problem is it's not the best or the most high danger or high action, right? It's not pitter patter shots, but it's just kind of high intensity sparring, which is fine. I'm not mad at it at all. I'm not mad at him at all. I kind of like him. At the end of the fight, he was like, "What else do I have to do?" And I'm like, "Yeah, honestly, man, like you threw a lot of fucking punches. You landed a lot of punches. Like, look at some of these other fights. Priscilla Cachoeira fought on this card, and that person." That woman, that fighter, is an embarrassment to the sport. Meanwhile, Chris Curtis, you know, blood and guts on the line. He's getting booed every round.
I don't think it's his fault. I really think it was more of of things that were happening before these guys got in there. If this fight had happened after a vicious knockout, they would have been like, "Oh, this is sick too." But it's more of just the decision. Like some of these fights we're going to talk about were just kind of. Not
they went the distance,
but they were just exactly, they went the distance, so it wasn't really like and some of them were one-sided, so it's kind of like we already know what's going to happen. I don't know.
Not many bonuses given out, that's for sure.
No, and rightfully so. Power Bar takes a tough L to the Action Man, but the Action Man's probably up for another ranked fight again, I would say. I don't know what they would do. I mean, he is ranked, but I mean, he's like, I think he's got to a big step up in competition, because I mean he's definitely in that 15-10 range. I think that's pretty solid. I just don't know who they would match him up with next that would kind of get everyone excited or something like that. Shout out to the dog.
The dog going crazy. Yeah. Maybe the Dolidze Imavov loser, or the winner. Probably not winner. Probably the winner that would get like a Paulo Costa, Brennan Allen, Vittori, Cannonier. But I think the loser of that fight, possibly, or maybe he steps in late notice to fight Chimaev or somebody he hasn't faced before. I think Chris Curtis is always down to just step in. Also, he's 36, so he's not getting any younger. If the opportunity presents itself, he's absolutely going to do that. So I commend him for that.
What about Paul Craig? Could fight Paul Craig.
I mean, sure.
Yeah, nobody really wants to see that, though. That'll just be a snoozer. But good win for Chris Curtis. Congratulations. And now we keep it moving. Movsar Evloev.
Alan Cruz struggled saying that name.
Yeah, they were going back. Is it Evloev or DC's like, I think it's Evloev. You're like, okay.
Yeah, not listening to you.
No, I don't.
DC kept saying Evloev. I'm like, bro, you're adding letters.
Yeah, that's not it. There's no space. There's no space there. You're good. Evloev he took a unanimous decision victory over Arnold Allen. I thought this was a not exciting, but I thought this was a fascinating fight. Kind of played out exactly how we thought.
A little chess match-ish.
Yeah, Arnold Allen's really just not at that level. I think that's what I got from this. Like, he's good, but I just think he's kind of overmatched when he gets up against these guys at the upper echelon of 45. It's the Holloway was the one side of it where you're just getting outstruck, and in this one he's getting outstruck and then he's getting taken down. A little bit of, or just the threat of takedowns getting mixed in. It kind of just. He didn't look comfortable in there, and then he would get loose a little bit, and then it just, none of it was enough. So
then he got fucking cut open bad, too.
Did.
That was, so yeah, I mean, Evloev still has no finishes. I know a lot of people are going to probably not be a fan of him because of where he's from and his style. But I don't think it's, he kind of reminds me a little bit of Khabib without, I don't think he has the finishing ability that Khabib had. And but I don't think his stand-up is as clunky. Khabib's was very clunky. It got better because he had some power. But I kind of like Evloev's striking. It's not his bread and butter. It's not what's going to win him fights, maybe a title, but it works. It's functional, right? I think he has good. He threw multiple jump knees. I think that might have been what cut Arnold out. I'm not actually really sure what did, but
also he was falling at his face. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I thought it was either that or one of those that jab that almost knocked Allen down in the I think second round. That was really nice. He does a couple things that are just very different, right? He throws like a hook into a stance switch takedown. So he'll throw like a right hook and go for your right leg. Like he'll cross body into a takedown. He's awesome at controlling the back. When he was on the ground, Arnold Allen was pretty much up, and he had his like back and was just like stuck to him. Like he is a backpack. He is super disciplined and strong and aware of what to do on the ground. And then he was almost in a submission, or he was almost in a ninja choke, and he like gator rolled out of it. He has these quick twitch muscles. He just did like a 360 with his body, like to shake free, and got out of it, and then turned that into him getting on top. I love watching him fight, honestly.
Some of the grappling exchanges in this fight were incredible, man. Like them Grammy rolls and all that. Like Allen was doing everything he could to get off that man's hands. Like once Evloev got his hands locked, it was like almost impossible for no matter how many times he rolled or did whatever. Like he would get out of the bad position that he was in, but he would still end up, in a negative position because Evloev just maintained control the whole time. That part of this fight was awesome. I thought this fight was very not exciting again, because it's not in the traditional sense, but entertaining. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I really did.
I just don't understand how Dana White says this is like one of the most boring fights he's ever seen.
That's what I'm saying.
On the same card where we had one of the most boring fights you've ever seen for a title.
Yeah.
Like that has higher stakes and more implications, more eyes on it. You should be criticizing those fighters for fighting boring. And Mayra Bueno Silva ending the last 30 seconds of the fifth round on her back. Yeah. just welcoming little low kicks from Pennington. That was boring. But also Evloev, amazing striking defense. I mean, Arnold Allen couldn't hit him. What did he land? The percentages, significant strikes were kind of even, 43 for Evloev, 42 for Allen. Both of them were kind of headhunting and also going to the body, ripping body kicks. They both do a very good job of that. Only a couple leg kicks. And, Arnold Allen pretty much getting outstruck at distance by Evloev is pretty telling.
Yeah,
I think he's taken a step back from that Max fight. Remember, he didn't win, but he kind of made a very good account of himself. He also landed some big shots. But I think that might have been where he peaked. I think he has to reset a little bit. Like he has that wild blitz style, which, it works, but it also almost got him knocked out against Dan Hooker. So he has some things he has to work on for sure. I think he's tough as a fucking dog.
Yeah.
But, the problem is Evloev, it was a bad matchup for him all around. And the fact that Evloev showed off some pretty good striking, also amazing control of the single leg. Like as good as Arnold Allen did defending it, Evloev had amazing control of it. Just all around a tough motherfucker to fight, and it seems like he has awesome cardio. It seems like he's, slowly but surely getting better. 18-0, still hasn't tasted defeat. He's 29, so he's pretty much in the prime of his career. He's pretty big for the weight class, it seems like. Very strong. That's what, honestly, since he's been in the UFC, or at least his last couple fights, they've been pretty impressive. Arnold Allen, Diego Lopez, Dan Ige, Hakeem Dawodu, these guys didn't win a round almost against him. They had moments, but he's pretty much shutting these guys out. And he's also had a bunch of cancellations. So, yeah, I'm really interested to see what Mozart does going forward. If there's anybody that mirrors Khabib, and I don't really think there is, but I think he might be the closest.
Yeah, and I would love to see him get put in a 5-round fight to just, let's see, can he carry that cardio into, because, obviously he's a decision master, so, let's see if you can, which I don't have no doubt that he will. I'm just kind of want to see it, and I'd like to see him get matched up. He might be one and a title. I would love to see him fight Topuria. I feel like that would be an awesome fight. That's an incredible matchup. I would love to see, I think he would probably beat Emmett just because off the wrestling, and I think that it would, but Emmett, you get close to Emmett, anything can happen. Bryce Mitchell just showed up. Bryce Mitchell and Evloev, they were trying to do that a bunch of different times, and that kind of got canceled.
That would have been good, but I guess that's kind of...
We kind of know what would happen, but it's just one of them things you want to see it happen, So
I guess what would be interesting for me, the most interesting battle or matchup for Movsar Evloev, Brian Ortega.
Yes.
Now, I know he has a fight scheduled, but if he wins, I guess maybe he's in that title shot, right? I guess he would be next up, would you say? Or after Yair or after Volkan and Taporia. It's funny that Taporia's fifth behind Arnold Allen at 4. I just think that's kind of funny, but either way, I mean, I guess if Brian wins or not, still, man, you put Evloev in Arnold Allen's spot or put Evloev at 5, and now you have him fighting Ortega for maybe that's the number 1 contender fight. I don't know. I mean, if Volk still has the title, you can't, are you going to run back Volk and Ortega? Like, I don't know about that. But either way, I'm with you on the Evloev train.
Yeah, I would love to. I mean, Ortega is still, it just depends on what version of him shows up or if he's healthy. I mean, health has been the bigger problem for him. He's long layoffs and taking beatings in these title fights. It's not. That's what's really been slowing him down. I would love to see like that matchup though, just skill wise. Evloev having to avoid them submissions the whole time. I think Ortega be able to hold his own on the stand up because I think his stand up has gotten better, especially offensively. Defensively he's not exactly the greatest, but he's got that Diaz like style where he just takes a beating and keeps walking forward. So yeah. And Ortega and Yair is going to be awesome too. Make no mistake about it. I'm very excited about that. How about we keep it moving? That was the main card, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed that. I think overall, it was fine. The main card. There was a couple. I think what really killed it was that co-main, just being the snooze fest that it was, and the Neil Magny coming back. I mean, Evloev was fine, but now we go to the prelims. Garrett Armfield. Ty,
our boy.
I'm so mad that we didn't do it because we thought about it. We wanted to do it so bad. We talked about it on the pod. I just didn't trust that this was the time. I just didn't know if that Garrett Armfield that I believe in and the one that beat that Japanese gentleman up, Kazama, I think his name was. Yeah, he beat the fuck out of him. I didn't know if that version of that guy was going to show up this time, and it did. And Brad Katona, it's just he was just getting outstruck, but he was getting beat to the punch every time. And Katona's defense is just kind of to eat punches. And he tries to get inside, and he wasn't really able to get inside. He wasn't able to get those takedowns that he usually does. And he really was just, getting beat up pretty much this whole fight. So, I mean, good. This is a great win for Garrett Armfield, man. I'm a believer. We both have been, but it's still, I even though he did win, I still leave with a little bit of I'm still unsure, Ty.
Yeah, no, I think next fight, if people hop on the train, I think that might be the spot where he was still a dog in this fight. So I think you're like, all right, next fight, I'm going to be on him, I'm going to bet on him, and he'll be like minus 150 against Daniel Wiley Cat Santos or Damon Blackshear, and then he loses, and you're like, fuck, man, I should have been on the last fight. So I think you got to be careful with him, but he is showing improvements. I love Trey Ogden is a madman in that corner. Just honestly, the whole thing he kept yelling was discipline. And there's some times where Armfield's hands come down. I mean, the cardio is still something he's working on. But he won. I think he won all 3 rounds, right? So
I thought so.
The fact that he was able to win the 3rd round against Brad Katona in a matchup that I thought was going to be a little tough for him, it was not tough for him. He led the dance the whole way, the whole time. And those 2 guys I mentioned are 2 guys I'd like to see him fight next: Daniel Santos or Damon Blackshear. I think it would be a great matchup all around. Blackshear would probably have his way with him in the grappling department, but honestly, his grappling's getting better. His wrestling's getting better. His all-around game is getting better.
It's a big guy, man.
He is a big boy. He kind of reminds me of Michael Chandler in a way, where he's kind of big. He has those bursts, those big movements. But a good athlete also. Just also kind of the way he's built. He's not as jacked as Michael Chandler, but the way he kind of moves him and fights is a little reminiscent of him. But he's got that crisp boxing. So. Oh, yes. I didn't even know that. That makes sense, honestly. Yeah. He's got that boxing, the good takedown defense. The 1-2 is his bread and butter. And Katona's just an awkward guy to fight. So
yeah,
I thought the first 2 rounds were kind of awkward. Katona ended up getting a 3rd round trip takedown, and then it didn't even matter. Katona got right back up. So yeah, we saw a lot of improvements from him so far, and I'm on board, dude. Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're already looking back on it, but we're really going to kick ourselves when Katona gets flatlined next fight. We're like, damn, dude, how do we not have Armfield in that fight? It's just, I think Katona's just, he's been around for so long. I know he's only 13-3, but he's been doing this for a while, and the athleticism was never there, And I think, again, last fight against Cody Gibson was kind of just an outlier. That's not really what he does usually. And you could tell in this fight, he only landed, I think, 64 strikes. He got outstruck 105 to 64. So, yeah, good shit. Our boy Garrett Armfield, another dub.
I think
undefeated in the UFC.
Yeah, the thing that scares me about Capone is just I believe him to be somebody who has a good fight IQ. So he especially on the Ultimate Fighter would, even when things weren't going his way, would figure out a way to kind of win a fight. Whether he had to stand there and bang or he's getting chipped up from the outside. He's like, fuck this, and he walks on the inside and starts throwing hands. It seemed like he always was able to figure out a way to win. In this one, it just seemed like the power that was coming back his way he did not like, and it was coming with accuracy. So I think he was waiting for Armfield to gas out, and he never really did. He wasn't really able to take over this fight. So it's just bad matchup. Again, I'm with you. I'd like to see who they match Mr. Katona up with next. It's the only two-time winner of the Ultimate Fighter. There's a reason he got cut the first time. I guess, I don't want to, even though he did, that loss to Hunter Azure did not age well, but.
Run it back with Cody Gibson. I don't know.
He fucking lost to Marab, and they acted like he lost to the worst fighter of all time. That was always crazy to me, but. All right. How about Sean the Sniper Woodson getting a split decision, which I don't know how this was split, to Charles Jourdain. Idea. Charles Jourdain acts like he won the fight. When I clearly heard Sean the Sniper Woodson, and I'm like...
So, the problem is, dumbass Jaron Vallel raised Charles Jourdain's hand.
Okay.
And fucking idiot. The problem I also was, I guess as soon as he said Sean, I guess he thought it was Charles. I guess the first sounding of both their names kind of, with the way he yelled it, maybe was a little inaudible, I guess, kind of.
Well, it's
maybe.
that Sean.
Does that make sense? Right?
Yeah, it's that sound, so he probably just jumped at it. And
but then, the ref not knowing. How do you not know?
Well, it's the guy's right behind you. You can probably even hear him say it without the mic,
I thought they even tell the refs. Maybe not, but they raise his hand, and then DC, of all people, has to come over and be like, no, you lost, buddy.
Sean Woodson won the fight.
I'm not interviewing you, pussy. No, but Sean Woodson was like, "Oh fuck yeah, let's go." So they both thought each other won. That was crazy.
Do you think they got it right? I thought they did.
Yeah, I thought he won maybe all three rounds. I guess the third round was probably the best Jourdain round, but he just had trouble with him really the whole time. And the boxing from Woodson, the awkwardness, the length. They talked about how he was, I think, 47-3 as a boxing amateur, and then was he in a car accident? I think, and then he switched to MMA. He met somebody. I forget the whole story, but you could tell with that boxing background, his movement, his head movement is, again, he has that awkward style and awkward frame. He has a weird body build. I'm not one to, critique anybody, but good knees too. He uses his length really well, and I think that's just what gave the now bald-headed Jourdain some problems. I think Jourdain needs to grow his hair back, maybe. That's just pretty much what that won him the first and carried over to the second, carried over to the third. Jourdain was not able to break the stride that he was in. So, back to the drawing board, honestly, for Jourdain. It's, again, he's still young. He still has talent, but he's now lost 3 of his last 5. Crone Gracie being one of the wins in that fight was obviously not his fault, but just sad. And his wins have not really aged well. Marcelo Rojo, Duho Choi, Lando Venata, Andre Yule, Crone Gracie again, like I said, and Ricardo Ramos. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. He just has to figure it out.
Yeah, well, he needs a win against a big-time name because even if he had beaten Sean Woodson, people would have been like, oh, well, it's just Sean Woodson. Even though Sean Woodson is very good. By the way, you were right. It was a serious car accident at the age of 16. Yeah. And he wound up living at Matt Hughes' gym.
Matt Hughes, that's fucking right.
And then he got introduced to MMA. I just read that on his Wik.
I think his mom is the one who got him involved somehow.
Pretty crazy, but it's crazy how life works. But you know what happens, though? When you are able to make 45 pounds and you have a 79-inch reach or something, I think it's something along those lines, 78, then, especially with that boxing, man, he is a problem. Not to say he can't be beat, but it's just like that, getting around that problem in 15 minutes and not losing 8 or 9 of those minutes, it's tough. And that seems like what happened in this fight. I think Jourdain started to figure it out towards the end of the second, and then I think he probably won the third, but it was too late by then. You had to get him out of there. Way too late. So
also, yeah, I mean, dude, he got outlanded to the head, 59-18, 59-19, outstruck a distance 70-52. I mean,
it just looks cleaner coming from Sean Woodson. Like he's out on the outside, he's not getting touched, and he's popping that jab and those straight shots right down the chute. He does exactly what he needs to do, man. He's, and like we talked about, we thought he might implement some wrestling at some point. He has in the last couple fights. It was smart to not do it in this fight because Jourdain, like you said, has them sneaky submissions. But it's a good win. It's a good win for Sean Woodson. So,
and in previous fights, Jourdain mixes up at least a little bit to the body and to the legs. In this fight, he did not. He did not. I mean, obviously, it was 31% to the head, 33% to the body, 35% to the legs. So he pretty much landed to the head less than he did to the body and to the legs. And that's not going to win you fights, man, especially when you're going up against a boxer. No. I think that awkward build did give him trouble. So he's like, I guess I got to go to the legs, maybe slow him down. That didn't work. So, yeah, man, just back to the drawing board he goes, I think.
How about Ramon Tavares getting a split decision against Sergey City? I thought this was a bad decision, in my humble opinion. I don't think it was like a stone cold robbery or anything crazy like that, because I think Tavares was able to win 1 and 2, and 2 with that him dropping City. But I thought, as much damage as City took, he kind of bounced back, man, and showed that he really. I mean, you got to have a little bit of that dog in you to be in the UFC, and he definitely showed he's got that dog in him. He started to really put it on Tavares, especially late in the fight in that third round, and I thought he might have done enough to win the fight. That's why I was shocked. I mean, even DraftKings and those gambling, whatever they show on the bottom, I think City was a minus 500, 600 favorite going into the card. So it's, that's never the end all be all because, all the books and all of us can say what we think. It only matters what 3 guys that are sitting cage side think. So it's a good win for Tavares. I thought he looked pretty good. And again, like I said, these guys could fight 10 times. And it will always be exciting. It's just a really good matchup.
And Derek Cleary scored it for Sergey City. So if you think he won, I think you might have to rescore your card if you're agreeing with it. No, it was honestly a close fight. The only reason I gave it to Tavares is because he got the knockdowns.
Yeah, that's what really was the difference make.
The knockdown to the counter body shot was so nasty in round 1, and he almost got him again at the end of the round 1. I think he hit him with a straight left. And then in round 2, he hit him with. It says he's only credited with 1 knockdown. I'm not quite sure how. In the second round, he hit him with a straight left that I think broke City's nose. That's exactly how that started.
That blood was crazy. Yeah.
And he got sat down. I don't know how that's not a knockdown unless they count the first round one. Actually, let's see if they do. Yeah, they didn't count the knockdown in the first round. I mean, he hit him to the body, and the guy fell to a knee. I don't know how that's not a knockdown. That's okay. Neither here nor there, but. Yeah, I mean, City outlanded him in the second and third, so I guess that's the argument you have, right? He outlanded him. He maybe didn't land the best shots, but he landed more. The cumulative damage added up for Sergey City, but man, the visible damage on his face, the bigger shots, the more impactful shots. Again, 2 in my mind knockdowns. I don't know. I think he got this one. City though, he is tough. I mean, he came back and landed shots in the middle to the end of the round too. So. It really depends how you scored that second round.
Yeah,
I'd have to go back and watch it again. I'd have to go back and watch it again. Maybe the knockdown gets nullified by other strikes. Maybe that was all he landed in that round. I'm not sure, but watching it live, I thought Tavares. Actually, I didn't watch it live. I watched it that night, but I was also very tired and under the influence, so I was not sure. Maybe I was watching the first fight of theirs, but. Yeah, very good. I mean, Oscar. Almost called him Oscar. R.I.P. to Oscar. But Ramon Tavares, he has such good boxing. I love it. I know it's a little. I think he has to add more to his game to really be a serious contender. But if I remember correctly, he's pretty young. Yeah, he's at 28. So
got to make weight too.
Yeah, that's gonna be a struggle. So he went to the head 77%. Yeah, the body. Sergey City does really good body work, good leg work, and he also got outstruck. Tavares did at distance, but City threw a lot. I thought Tavares did a pretty good job of rolling with some of these shots, kind of getting out of the way, not eating the majority of those, especially the kicks too. I think he did a pretty good job blocking some of those kicks. Sergey City, see if I'm crazy or if you agree, kind of reminds me a little bit of Dan Hooker. The way he comes forward, the way he's built, the way he's tough as a fucking $2 steak, right? The way he kind of throws kicks, knees, punches, everything. He just comes forward, that aggressive style, that kill or be killed style. And even when he gets hit hard, gets right the fuck back up. So that's just who he kind of reminds me of. I like it. I'm here for it. I like both guys. They're both action packed, both pretty young.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing these guys again. I think they're at what bantamweight. So
yeah,
a lot of tough guys in those weight class. I know this is at 140, 139 it says, but a lot of tough guys in that weight class for sure.
Either one of these guys is exciting. I'm a big fan of either one, and I could have seen them going with either one. I am glad though. I would run it. That's what I was literally gonna think. You just took the words out of my mouth. I mean, 1-1. Why not just run it back and figure out like who really is the best here? You know, It's because the first one was a questionable end, but still City had him in trouble. Kevin McDonald, shout out to what were you calling him? Fat Mark Otter or something like that.
That was not me. That was definitely you.
So yeah, I would like to see them do it again. Why not? And even if they don't, then I'll be tuning into whenever these two both fight again. So how about Jillian Robertson, man? This is a big win. She is a problem at 115 just because of that grappling and the pressure she puts on people. The stand up is still a little shaky. It's really
I'll say
it's really a storm you gotta wage and go through and figure out. But once she gets you to the ground, and especially if she's able to get your back, it's curtains for whoever is on the bottom. And Polyana Viana really had no answers. I mean, she was feeding an armbar at one point, and Jillian really just went position over submission here, got her out of there, and really ruined my sub bet, but I can't blame her. She looked great, beat the shit out of her. That's why I like inside the distance for most of the time, but that wasn't a really good number here. But good win for Jillian Robertson, man.
Yeah, Polyana Viana, I thought, looked cleaner and crisper on the feet, but it didn't matter because, she has like this lean back takedown defense where, her takedown defense is non-existent. Her get-up game is even more non-existent. So, I mean, easy bet if you used your brain. I did not use my brain, or I just don't have one. But Jillian Robertson dispatched of her pretty easily, pretty fairly. I mean, she got hit with a couple shots, but that's nothing. I mean, that probably woke her up. So maybe Polyana Viana needs to, I don't know, maybe her business relationship with Alex Pereira is not working. What do you think?
Well, I mean, the thing is, she needs to go hang out with Glover and maybe drown him in the water first to figure out how to grapple, because that seems like the problem here. The striking was not the problem; she was chipping her up on the feet. It's just, I think it's just a bad matchup though, because Jillian. I think the good thing for Jillian is she was up at 25, grappling with these chicks who are much bigger than her, and then she comes down, and it seems like she makes the weight pretty easily. She doesn't look like she's diminished in there in any way, and she, she just controls people on the ground, and that loss, coming off of the loss to Tabitha Ritchie, she looked really good in this one. Tabitha Ritchie is just, on her level with grappling. I think if she fights somebody who's not known as a primarily, grappler, it's gonna, if they can't chip her up and if she gets them down, it's pretty easy. So it's kind of just a matchup based situation here for Jillian Robertson. I did the question of how old do you think Jillian Robertson is to all my boys. They're like 33, 34. I'm like, no, guys. And they said the same thing. Like, damn, it's just because she's been in the UFC forever. She's got 16 UFC fights, man. It's pretty wild. Yeah. Pretty wild.
Polyana Viana also, her wins, not good. Emily Spitfire Whitmire, Mallory, not in the UFC anymore, Martin, Jinyu Fry, and Maya Stevenson, who I don't think is a real person. So, yeah, brutal.
What is Maya
be
Stevenson?
Damian Maya and Joe Daddy Stevenson's kid.
Okay. Wow, I didn't know they had a congratulations, guys, for sex. So let's keep
something I'm not getting.
Let's keep it moving. How about Sam the Future Patterson? I will say, listen, as much shit as I talked about this guy, he looked good. He got the submission pretty easily.
Did what he had to do.
He did what he had to do, but I'm more here to talk about how atrocious and dog shit Johan Liness was, and how dog shit his submission defense was. I mean, because he basically just fed this man a rear naked choke. And I just truly wonder what Mr. Liness was doing. But I vow to stop doing this. I let my not I wouldn't say hatred, but my like I'm no matter what fading a guy's like my ultimate like fade. I'm like, oh, this guy stinks. He stinks. But some people, I got to remember that some people stink more than others, and I think Johan Linnes stinks more than Sam Patterson, and I think it's just a situation where I have to remember that this one's on me. I got to do better. I got to do a better job.
Yeah, Linnes was 1 of 9 in total strikes, and it's funny because I remember the one that he landed. It was actually the only. It was not literally the only punch he landed, but it was like the only good shot of the fight landed. It was because Sam Patterson just has that awful defense, has his hands down. Hit him with a pretty clean shot. Right after he hit him with that one shot, he got close to him, and then that was it. That was it from there. He had openings, and he closed the distance and then got out-grappled into fucking oblivion, so quick. That was good. I mean, he was upset after the fight because he's like, damn, I'm done. I'm done in the UFC. I'm done, as he should be.
As he should be, yeah. He should not be here anymore. How about
bad.
Jasmine Jasudavicius with a... I mean, listen. Who was the referee here? Was it Villel or no?
Matthew Roca.
He wanted Priscilla to die in there. That was crazy because at a certain point, like, then Jasmine like gassed herself out and she was just throwing those like nothing little punches, but Priscilla Cachoeira got the fucking shit beat out of her in this fight, man. This was an ugly, ugly affair, and I thought they had many opportunities to stop it before this. That's kind of why I like the better refs in this game. I was going to say Herb Dean, but he would have let her die too. The Mark Goddards, the Jason Herzogs, those kind of guys, that they'll just know that it's not this girl's night. They'll look for an opportunity and they'll stop the fight. This other guy is like what's his name? Matthew Yamasaki. He wanted Priscilla to go out like a warrior. So if she eventually gets a Darce choke, feel bad for people who had TKO in this fight because I mean that you had about 17,000 opportunities that this fight could have been stopped before that. But great win for Jasmine. And Priscilla, Priscilla tried to give her a hug after the fight. She pushed her away, said, "Get the fuck away from me." Said, "I want nothing to do with that." But one of the shining stars of Canada, the women, were the ones that held Canada up to in a night that was pretty bad for the Canadians.
Yeah, especially the men. I mean, what the hell are you guys doing? So yeah, Jasmine smashed her in the first round. She knocked her down right in the second, and then she had that front choke sequence to ground and pound. I thought it's funny because JJ, if you see it, kind of got dropped partially with a left hook, but there was just nothing behind it, so it didn't really matter. It was Priscilla just throwing from the hip, and then she got taken down after it's funny, she threw JJ off her. Priscilla did, and then she tried hitting her with a big shot when Jasmine was on her knees, so she got close to her and then got taken down. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you getting close to somebody is going to just absolutely grapple you? This was the fifth 10-7 in UFC history. Do you know any of the other ones?
This was a 10-7? I mean, it's worthy of it. I just didn't even look at the cards.
Yeah, the second round, I believe, was a 10-7.
Yeah, she was beating the fuck out of her.
For Sal Diamato.
How many other ones were there?
4. The last one was in Toronto.
Well, one of them's got to be, I don't know. Was it Frankie Edgar Gray Maynard?
That should have been one.
It should have been one, but it ended before it, right?
Yes.
I don't know. I actually don't even know. I would like to hear them.
Max and Ortega.
Okay. You think that's fair? I don't know. That seems like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty savage. That was a pretty savage beatdown in that one. I mean, it was the fourth round. He outlanded him 134-28.
Okay.
So
that's a lot of strikes.
I'm not sure if Marina got one for Michelle Watterson. Ilya Taporia got one over Josh Emmett. Hamzat Chimaev got one over John Phillips. And I can't really find any other ones. I'm trying to go down in my Selecki. One judge gave Selecki a 10-7 against whoever he fought on 6-4-22. That's all I can give you right now. I don't know. But either way, yeah, I don't know. Unless that was a 10-8. It looks like there's a bunch of different kind of things. 10-7 for Deontay Wilder. Not what I'm looking for, guy.
Silva. Yeah, maybe.
If I remember that, Alex de Silva was getting his ass beat, but
he was.
Yeah, the ultra rare 10-7. You get 10-7.
Majority decision was how he won that fight, though. So I guess
that's right.
Kind of back and forth.
If you get 10-7, you should get cut. So, dude, Total strikes 326 to 26. Total Jasmine to Priscilla Cachoeira. That's just that's how you get it done, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you get it done. She didn't really go to the body or the legs. She said, "I'm just going to beat the fucking shit out of this zombie girl until she dies." And that's exactly what happened. And she anacondaed her, which was also nice. So
I think Priscilla's not going anywhere, though. She's not there yet where it's time to go, but she's getting close.
Hey, listen, we'll keep an eye on her next opponent. As for
she's definitely on the fade list. You just look out for her. But the problem is that she kept she didn't. I was waiting for her to quit. She did not quit in this fight. She kept.
No, I will give her that. She just has no. She can't. She has no idea how to get up off her back. There's some people that are a turtle on their back. She's one of them. So
yeah. How about Jimmy Flick cashing us out for that plus 400? Saved my night from being a really bad night. Saved you from being even, and you went plus 4.1 units. I don't think I ever said how we did this week. I went 2-5, negative 0.1 units, so I went basically even. Ty, you went 4-3, you had plus 4.1 units. So
let's freaking go, dude.
Let's freaking go, dude. Jimmy Flick did not look good, though. Let me say that he was getting beat up pretty bad at certain points in this fight. He was on. I mean, although Malcolm Gordon is just one of them guys who was fucking around and playing with a dude on the ground that you have no business. Like, why are you even letting this man go to the... Like, why are you entering his guard? I would just stand up and say, yo, I'm going to beat the shit out of you with my hands. And every time he was beating shit. I mean, Jimmy Flick looked like a zombie just bouncing back and forth. Didn't he look like he was there and then takes him down and got him out of there. Arm triangle, pretty nifty. The man's grappling is no joke. And Malcolm Gordon calls it quits after. So
he's like, dude, I beat the shit out of this guy and I still lost. I'm done. The fight wasn't even over and he started taking his gloves off. So I actually feel bad. I mean, it's a fight he was winning. It's a fight he needed to win, and he still lost in just kind of embarrassing fashion. It's 3 in a row, 5 of 7 in the UFC, and the only wins coming by freak accident slam over Dennis Bondar and a boring decision against a Little Figgy. So. Yeah, and also he won a fight where he landed no strikes against Sue Maderji. So,
did he really?
Oh, he lost. I'm sorry. I was like, how the fuck did that? I was like, how does that make sense? I don't know. I'm obviously drunk. But Jimmy Flick outlanded 37-3 in significant strikes. Total strikes 74-7. Jimmy Flick might have the worst.
Well,
I'm just reading. I'm like, this can't be real.
Boxing, like I don't know if these guys are striking.
You could say that.
I mean,
unless
it's
I'm
rough.
training him in boxing, but dude, his numbers he has to, for like somebody that has 5 fights, he has to have the worst striking ratio. 1.7 landed per minute, 5.2 absorbed per minute. I don't even know if that's updated. I assume it is, but I think it's bad. I think it's bad, but he was also booing. It was funny. He was welcoming the boos. That was a good moment. That was cool. Everyone's booing because they knew. Damn, our guy, our Canadian, lost to start this card. It's not going to be a good night for us. No. They knew, and Jimmy the Brick Flick was here to remind you of who he is. Yep. And Dom also kept calling him Malcolm X, which I was like, listen, I get that is his nickname. I get it. X is his nickname. Please stop calling him Malcolm X. Can we not? Let's not do that. Not do that, please. But it was kind of funny either way.
Well, it's good to see though that Jimmy Flick handled the boos well. We know some people don't exactly handle the boos.
Oh,
Shout out to Chuck Buffalo.
He's coming up on the next main card.
Yep. Chuck Buffalo will be fighting next time we see you guys, which will be February 3rd. He's fighting Garrett Urbina. Yeah. Wow. Gilbert Urbina. Sorry, Garrett.
Gilbert, yeah.
Yeah. Uguth
That's on the main card,
lit his landscaper on fire when he was pitching for the Phillies. So.
Yeah, tried killing a bunch of guys with a machete too.
Exactly. So that rough time that was in Phillies history, but we will look forward to the next card. I mean, I did want to go over the.
Will we?
No, I mean I just like watching the UFC, so it's any excuse to sit down and enjoy some Modelo's. Or now, well, I don't drink Bud Light because I just don't like the taste of it. It has nothing to do with any of the nonsense.
Right.
No, I mean I told everyone
this. Pretty shit.
The Super Bowl when they were giving Bud Lights out for free. That's when I got done with that because I just couldn't stand the taste of it anymore. It was, I mean, every night for like 2 months I was drinking Bud Lights. Fuck. But
when I was in, where was I? When I was in Boston, the barbacks were bringing out cases of Bud Light by like the fours. So like 420 packs. And I'm like, and they were just going. People in Boston drink Bud Light like it's nothing, which is
let me get another Bud Light.
Very ironic. Very ironic. But yeah, did you see any KSW?
No, but did you who do you know who won the awards this on this evening? Our performance of the night, our fight of the night.
There wasn't many.
So we gave out fight of the night. What do you think that was before I
guess it was the main event, even though it could have been the City Tavares fight.
Yeah, it was the Strickland. Duplessis gets $50,000. Performance
whatever.
of the night goes to Jillian Robertson, gets $50,000.
Hey.
And Jasmine Joe's Devicious gets $50,000. So they gave it. It seemed like this was like a Canadian thing. They were just giving it to the Canadians who did well.
The two girls, the two ladies, one of them who doesn't really get many finishes, they both showed up, and the rest of you guys didn't do shit. So how about that?
So there you go. You have some KSW updates.
Yeah, your boy Bartosz Fabinski, former UFC great. I believe he beat Darren the Dentist Stewart and Emil Weber Meek, your boys. Also, Hector Urbina, not to be confused with Ugath or Gilbert Urbina. He got knocked out in 12 seconds by a 12-8 fella, Laid Zerhoni. So that's it for Mr. Fabinski. Also, Damian Stasiak, who used to fight in the UFC. Actually won some fights. I believe he beat Davey Grant. I think he beat David Grant back in the day. He got knocked out in the second round. I think that might have been it for this card, KSW. There's always something going on. There's always some washed-up UFC fighter that's fighting a goddamn killer.
Well, I'll say the gentleman who fought in the main event who knocked this guy out, he's a glory kickboxer, I guess. He's 4-0.
Yeah, he beat the brakes off of that guy. That was pretty scary.
When are we getting this guy in the UFC? Holy smokes.
He's pretty good.
The guy with a forearm choke?
So I guess he's all around. He was supposed to.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he was supposed to fight. What's his name? The former boxer who's now one of the better KSW guys. The fuck is his name?
Oh,
Artur Spilka.
Oh, holy, that shit's gonna have me in fucking hell. I'm good.
Spilka. That's how it is. Spilka fought, I think, Wilder back in the day. Went the distance. He's a beast. He decided to start picking up KSW, and he just started beating the fuck out of everybody. So maybe you set that up again. That's probably going to be the next main event. Let's see what they're doing at 291. Is there anybody that I know or you know on this card? Let's take a quick look. I don't think so. No, I don't see anybody. But next time there's a big card, big fight, we will stay updated for sure on KSW.
What is the next, like, outside of UFC big event? Would that be the PFL? They're doing that PFL versus Bellator. That actually I am somewhat not excited by, or I'm kind of intrigued just to see some of the. I don't think I'm going to pay for it, and it's in Riyadh season keeps going.
Listen,
so.
We're never paying.
Never paying for the PFL ever. So,
Nemkov.
Who just gave their belt away? It wasn't Nemkov, was it?
I don't think so. It might have been.
Somebody just gave a belt away in. It might have been Nemkov.
I know you're interested in 165. That's where the main event. Actually, not the main event. Sage Northcutt will be fighting Shinya Aoki. Shinya Aoki is 40 years old, and that's pretty much. Sage Northcutt also is. I mean, what do we do? Sexy Yama and Nikki Holtzkin is on this card also. Martin Nguyen and Gary Tonin. I mean, ONE FC is pretty much on the precipice of bankruptcy, so that's happening soon. I know you're hype as fuck for that day to come, so that'll be good. Yeah,
I'll be hype as fuck when all of these garbage organizations go away. But actually, you need a little bit. It can't be just a monopoly for one guy. But it basically, one fucking thing. But it is. Did Tenshin Natsukawa, did he get it done this weekend?
I didn't know. I forgot you told me about that. I guess he didn't fight yet?
Is that like I think it's actually tomorrow. I think it's actually.
Shut up. Is it really on a Tuesday?
I think so. Those Japanese gentlemen, they don't play around. It is. Yeah, no.
They like Tuesdays.
Because some guy named Taraji is fighting Carlos Canizelis. So there you go. That'll be on at 8 o'clock tomorrow. So you could wake up, have your morning show, and enjoy that shit from Osaka, Japan. So
I will be there. So
I will be there no matter what at 5 in the morning. There's only 5 fights on the card. So there you go.
That's getting your money's worth if I've ever heard of it. But did you see any of the Michaela Mayer robbery discussion.
No, did she lose?
She lost to Natalia Jonas. Was that her name? Natalia Jonas? Apparently, let's see. Was it Jonas? Jonas Mayer? No. Natasha Jonas. Sorry.
John?
Yeah. John Jonas? Nick Jonas?
John Mayer?
John Mayer, Nick Jonas. Yeah, apparently. So Michaela Mayer went up 2 weight classes, which is crazy. And apparently she got robbed. That's what I'm seeing on the old Twitter. I mean, Dan Rayfield scored it for Natasha Jonas. Jesus. So I think that makes me think that Michaela Mayer won. But the world may never know, I guess.
I wasn't going to sit down and enjoy that one this weekend. I had
but apparently it was a good fight. I apologize to both women. I'm trying to stay up on this boxing news. Boxing moves quick, man. There's just so much.
There's so much
content, and most of it's bullshit. So you're like, all right, I'm waiting for this fight. And you're like, wait, they both retired? What are you? It's always something. It's always something that doesn't make sense. But this weekend, coming up, Jaime Munguia, John Ryder. Let's freaking go. That's actually going to be a really good fight, all jokes aside. John Ryder is...
You've been talking about that.
John Ryder isn't the most sexy fighter, but he's awkward. He gets it done. He's 35, though. That's the problem I have. Coming off of that Canelo loss. He didn't get finished, so that's good. Also had a split decision over Daniel Jacobs. Lost to Callum Smith. He's had a back-and-forth career. I mean, he went from journeyman to title fighter, which is, always impressive. He's fighting a much younger Jaime Munguia, who's trying to fight for that and try to angle for that Canelo fight. Hopefully he does not get it, because I don't want to see that. But coming off of that fight of the year, my fight of the year in boxing in 2023 against Sergey Derevyanchenko. Let's see if he can rebound here and get another dub.
Just waiting for the B-Vol Better BF fight. Waiting for my boy Subriel Matias to fight again. Yeah,
those are good. Those are good fighters to watch out for. So I will let you know if there's any more prospects to look out for. Gabriella Fundora, the sister of I can't think of his first name. Sebastian Fundora. She's also extremely tall for her. She's 5'9", fighting at 112.
Jesus Christ.
He's 6'5", fighting at 147. Yeah, well, it runs in the family, as you can see. But she's pretty good. She's only 21, which is wild. 12-0. She's fighting Christina Cruz, who is 41 years old. So Hell's Kitchen Kid is her nickname, which is just terrible.
That sounds like a fucking beatdown if I ever heard of one.
Yeah.
God.
So that card's not too crazy, but it will be in Phoenix, Arizona, on DAZN, Golden Boy promote. Of course, Oscar De La Hoya doesn't want to stuff the prelims with anything good because, that's how it goes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we will not have another Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast this week. We have no MMA, or no UFC, I should say, so we are off.
Not really much MMA.
Not really much, honestly, in general. It's
ACA, is that the Kadyrov organization? They're always running events.
Yeah, is that the one where I want to tune into one of the cards where the drug dealer is fighting a crackhead or something like that in Russia, and the guy's wearing a leather jacket while fighting the guy. So that
you're like, dude, what the? And then he gets a knockout. And you're like, all right, I don't know what's going on here anymore.
Only in Russia. That's why every time I see an obscure Russian fight, I always send it to you because I just want you to.
Yeah.
I want you to also have to see this. If I had to see it, so do you. So.
Well, this fellow Magomed Bibulatov, who is 20-3, I believe. As Juha Kalugi, I believe he.
Oh my God, I must just threw up, dude.
He was in the UFC for a little bit. He lost to John Baraga by a quick knockout, and then he fought Rogerio Bontorin and lost a split, and then I guess got cut. Yeah, I remember this guy. I remember he was part of the cuts, and we're like, why did he get cut from the UFC? Maybe there's some ties to Kadyrov, seeing as he's fighting in ACA, which is the Kadyrov organization from Chechnya. That's probably, I would say, played a part. He's fighting in the main event at 135, so. I would say bring him back to the UFC, but,
Oh, he lost to Bontorin, and I think he missed weight as well. I think it was kind of like a double whammy.
They're probably like, hey, we don't want you here anymore, buddy. So you better learn Chechen, buddy.
I do remember.
Yeah. He was pretty good. So, I mean, actually, why not? I mean, they just signed Shara Bullet. He can't even enter the U.S., so, might as well give this guy another go.
Yeah, he can't enter the U.S., and he also can't fight in the U.S. under any commission because he has one eye. So
yeah.
Rough situation there. Only in the UFC would we be ducking, diving, and keeping guys over in certain countries so that they can fight.
The one-eyed fighter. Unbelievable.
That's the thing with Hamzat. Like, it's Hamzat's turn to fight. Yeah, we're gonna fight again in Abu Dhabi. Oh yeah, we're gonna have another big-time card in Saudi Arabia, which now Dana's saying that he canceled the Saudi Arabia card because it wasn't up to his standard. Come on, man.
Yeah.
His Excellency said, do not bring that bullshit over here. I want nothing to do.
Yeah, we're not trying to watch Muhammad Yahya fight.
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm good on Mr. Mukayev, all right? I don't need to see that guy in a main event. I'm okay.
Yeah.
So
bring me Wilder.
Yeah, bring me Hamzat, bring me Brock Lesnar. They're like, dude, we can't just bring Brock Lesnar back.
Yeah, he's
They're like, well, then we'll just get the WWE here and we'll have him come.
And there you go. Also, WWE sneak appearance this weekend.
Royal Rumble,
baby, we're in the bird.
You going?
I'm not. No, stop.
It's going to be a hell of an event. I'll be at my crib having the cock loaded up. Peacock, that is. Don't get mistaken.
Hey,
watching it on the cock.
Watching on the dick and balls. But yeah, apparently that should be good. There's going to be fans on the field. They're going to put seating on the field.
Yes.
So, I mean, the trop sucks. Maybe somebody can jump from the top of the trop, make it exciting. Why not? We're going to do some raffles at work, giving out numbers of Royal Rumble numbers. And
really? I'm going to do one of them too.
Come through. I'll give you. I'll rig it. I'll give you the whoever wins. Who's going to win? I don't know. Whoever has the best odds, we'll give you them. I'll give you number 29 or 30. I know you want those. And then you can get a $50 gift card.
Thank you for and honestly, we were going to have a Royal Rumble preview pod coming out. Me and Dante Mags are going to drop.
Hell yeah, I'll listen to that. Week, Dante Mags was in my fantasy league.
Shout
Came
out.
in last place.
Yeah, he was telling me about that. He was not happy. Tanking year. He won like 2 other leagues. He says that the one that hurts the most is the one that I came in last in. So
that's right. Yeah, I mean,
So, ladies and gentlemen, this was and is the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast. My name is Matt McSweeney.
I'm Ty Capone.
And ladies and gentlemen, as always, make sure you stay out of the cold when you can and enjoy that summer heat wherever you are, especially where Ty is. Go out, take a nice walk for me if you are living in a nice
60
area.
degrees. Whew,
it is 25 degrees here in in New Jersey, and I have been fighting for my life. There's snow still on the ground. It's going to get warm later on this week, though, so I'm sure I'll get nice and sick from the temperature changing, so I can't wait. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next time.